Yes, Economic Survey 2026 has been presented in the Parliament a little while ago, pegging the growth outlook for FY27 in the range of 6.8 and 7.2%, with the upper range increasing compared to the previous projection for FY26. If you see, it was in the range of 6.3 and 6.8%. Now, I will try to break the outcome and the key highlights in 5 broader points, and first to start with, of course, on the growth outlook, where the survey is pointing out that FY27 remains to be steady growth amid the global uncertainty. And I quote here is that the central policy message coming out of this survey is saying that India is supposed to maximize growth while absorbing shocks, and it is in fact describing the entire need to run a marathon like a sprint. So that's a messaging coming out from these survey documents. And in fact, the other point, a very crucial point, is the domestic economy running and driving the key anchor for the growth of Indian economy. In fact, FY27 is expected to be a year of adjustment, domestic demand and investment gaining strength. And in fact, the survey do highlight the fact of inflation, which has moderated to historically low level. And in fact, the balance sheet across household, firms and banks are showing healthier, supportive, and in fact, the consumption also showing quite a resilience. So those factors are coming as a domestic economy as the key anchor. The third aspect is, of course, the external challenges and the policy response to it. What survey is highlighting and in fact emphasizing the fact that how the Indian government has used this external headwind as opportunity, and in fact all those policy reforms which we have seen as GST rate rationalization done last year in September, and the deregulation and compliance measures which has taken by Indian government has actually kind of softened the external shock and acted as a catalyst for the structural measure. Now, the third point is on the global risk and uncertain environment. That's the downside risk which the report and the survey is highlighting, and in fact it's showing and giving the 3 scenarios as far as medium term growth outlook is concerned. It says that medium term remains weak with modest growth. It also talking about that the key risk persist in the form of AI-driven asset valuation correction, prolonged trade conflicts and geopolitical tension. So that's the downside risk the survey is highlighting. And the one on the external uncertainty, where the survey is talking about how global risk translate into external uncertainty rather than immediate causing a macro stress. So what survey is essentially highlighting that you won't see perhaps the immediate risk on the macro indicators, on the macro numbers, but this is something we should deal as a caution, but not as a being pessimist about it. And in fact, it's clearly talking about the precious metal, how it's moving. And in fact, I quote that rising gold prices, especially in 2025, reflect the global risk aversion, driven by a weaker dollar and of course the negative real rate. So in a sum, they're talking about that definitely the consumption and the domestic factors are driving the economic growth for India. But as far as external headwinds are concerned, it remains as a down risk. But overall growth for the mid to long term, especially the mid term, will remain at 7%. So that's some of the key outcomes of Economic Survey 2026.